Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Jenny and I have been on Facebook Live every day this week. We're so glad to be with you. I'm Danna Bowman.
And I'm Ginny Mahar. We are the co-founders of Thyroid Refresh and Thyroid 30, and we're so thrilled to be here today with our amazing team member, advisory board member, the one and only Mary Shomon. So welcome, Mary.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. How are you doing? Good morning, especially on the West Coast. Extra good morning to you all out there. And it's great to be here, you guys.
Are you feeling rested, Mary? Did you get a good night's sleep last night?
I did. Got my 7 hours, so I'm feeling pretty good.
Nice. Well, that's what we're going to be talking about today, you guys. The topic is sleep yourself skinny. Are you sleeping enough to reach your dream weight? So this is an area that Mary's been really diving into lately. And so we're so excited to hear what you have to say about that and to, teach us about the link between weight loss and sleep. This is a big one, guys. And I think relatively maybe one of the easier ones to fix, to tweak in our lives, right? So before we dive in, I want to make a quick announcement that our Thyroid 30 Fall Wellness Adventure is about to begin. This is the very tail end of enrollment, and we would love to have you guys join us. If you want to learn more, sign up. You can go to thyroidrefresh.com/thyroid30. And if you've never tried it before, if you don't know anything about it, this is a 30-day opportunity to up-level your well-being and have fun doing it. So whatever your goals are, maybe you want to lose weight, maybe you want to improve your sleep, maybe you want to make dietary changes, whatever it is, you can use this platform and the community and all the incredible tools we have to do that, to reach those goals and to have fun doing it. So check it out, Thyroid 30, and don't delay because enrollment is about to close. Our prep week actually starts on Monday. So the doors close, I think, at midnight this Sunday. So we would love to see you guys in there.
Yep. And when we say it closes, it really does, because the game starts. It's built on another platform, so there's just no getting in. So,
yeah.
Okay, Mary Shomon, for those of you who don't know, is a patient advocate and New York Times best-selling author of 13 books on health. She's been researching, writing, and teaching about thyroid disease, hormonal health, autoimmune disease, and weight loss for 2 decades and maybe more. In addition to her books, you can find her writing at verywell.com and healthcentral.com, and catch her PBS Healthy Hormones television specials, and you can follow her on Facebook and Twitter. You can find a ton of her information on thyroidrefresh.com. We are so honored to have her on our team. Thank you so much for joining us, Mary.
Thank you, Danna. It's fun to be here. As always, I love doing the Facebook Lives with you folks. So.
Well, before we dive in, I just wanted to mention can you back up just a little bit from your camera? Maybe it's yeah, there we go.
How's that?
Awesome.
Perfect. I gotta get a new camera because I keep having trouble with my camera and it's fuzzy and everything. I think I'm gonna invest. If anybody has any suggestions on a good little mini portable camera I can use, I'm gonna need to, because I've got an iPhone, but for some reason my camera I think I got a lemon camera. So is that better?
Yes, that looks
it is
great.
better.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep it right there. So.
Okay, so let's dive in because we're on a little bit limited time this morning. Talk to us about the link between weight and sleep.
Sure. Well, the first thing is, a lot of people, if I ask them, if I said, hey, should you get up early and go for a jog or go to spin class or go do your P90X program for an hour and a half in order to lose weight, people would say, oh yeah, I should get up and exercise every morning. That's what they tell me. And you know that experts are now saying you're better off making sure you're getting enough sleep. So if you are cutting yourself short, and what they define it as short sleep, that's actually the medical term for it, and that is getting less than 7 hours of sleep a night. So if you are a short sleeper, you are always going to be better off getting that extra sleep to get to at least 7 hours versus running around the block or running a mile or jogging all over the place or getting on the treadmill or any other physical activity. Now, keep in mind, we're not saying not to do those things. Those are good things to do, and they're part of keeping a healthy metabolism and feeling well and being well. But what we're saying is you've got to start with a fundamental base of at least 7 hours of sleep. And there's a number of reasons for this. And it's not just, oh, I need to be rested so I have energy, whatever. When you are asleep, the hormonal factory goes to work. So this is the time when fat is burned because we're not eating. We have at least 7 hours, or maybe more if we're sleeping more, or we're eating a little bit earlier. We have a number of hours where we're not taking in any calories. So the body says, aha, no calories coming in. Time to switch over to fat burning. Well, if you shortchange yourself on that time, what happens? Not enough time for fat burning. The hormonal factory at nighttime is also building a stress hormone, cortisol, so that you start your day with the highest amount of cortisol that you're going to have during a 24-hour period. If you shortchange yourself, if you don't have the factory open, how can they do their work? So if you're keeping the factory closed part of the night by not getting sleep, then you're shortchanging yourself on your key stress hormone that you need to function throughout the day. You are also increasing your amounts of ghrelin and reducing your amounts of leptin. These are two important hormones that have a lot to do with weight gain and hunger and feelings of fullness. So when ghrelin goes up, what happens? You're hungrier and you feel less satisfied. When leptin goes down, what happens? You're hungrier and you feel less satisfied. And extra kicker, you crave carbohydrates. So, which is a double, triple whammy on top of it all. You also have a much more difficult time keeping your blood sugar regulated and lower, which is a factor for obesity, belly fat production, and the risk of developing type 2 diabetes and metabolic syndrome. But the belly fat issue is one of the biggest ones because, again, when that factory is not working, where are those fat cells going to stay? They're going to stay in your belly because that is the area that the body wants to store in order to provide quick energy when it needs it. But if you don't need that energy and it's not burning at night, what happens to it? It makes those belly fat cells just get bigger and bigger. We're also looking at nighttime as a time when the thyroid is converting T4 into T3. T3 is that active hormone, and what's its job? To help get energy and oxygen to your cells. So if you're not sleeping enough, there's not enough time for T4, T3 conversion to happen as thoroughly as it needs to. And then, of course, there's study after study that shows that short sleep lowers your metabolism, sometimes by as much as 20% the next day. It lowers your immune system, opens you up to all sorts of additional inflammation and infection, and allows your immune system to go haywire, which is a big issue for those of us with Hashimoto's or Graves' disease. And it is basically, they say what short sleep does is it causes the medical term is metabolic derangement. And I love that term. My metabolism is deranged. It's crazy, but it's true because a lot of us can say, hey, my metabolism doesn't make sense. I can eat nothing and still gain weight, or I just don't seem to ever feel full no matter what I'm eating. And that's a deranged metabolism by my medical standards. And short sleep, it just sends that metabolism right to the loony bin because it is saying, I'm going to help make you more deranged than ever before if you're not going to get enough sleep. Then, of course, there's this element of metabolism that's interesting. It's an addition to resting metabolism, which means like how many calories do I need to just open my eyes and breathe for 24 hours laying in bed? That's kind of a base metabolism. But then you get up and move around, right? And that requires additional energy expenditure. A lot of us are also burning off a fair amount of calories simply by fidgeting, tapping our fingers, kicking our feet when we're standing, moving around, shifting, bouncing, etc. When we don't have as much sleep and when we're tired, we do less of that incidental movement. We do less general movement. And that also then has another additional triple whammy on the metabolism because it's lowering our expenditure of calories and energy. So the lower the metabolism gets, the less we need to eat. And at the same time, the hungrier we are and the more we want carbohydrates, and the slower everything gets. So it's a real catch-22 situation. And the simple solution is 7 hours minimum. Now, the answer is also not going to 10, 12, 13 hours. I remember when I was a teenager, I could go to bed at midnight or 1 o'clock and wake up at 3 in the afternoon the next day, during high school. That's not what we want to do as adults, but we want to keep it to 7 to 9 hours. Anything over 9, and it starts to have its own health downsides as well. But if you can aim for 7 to 9 hours, that is going to be the sweet spot for metabolism, energy, blood sugar management, hormonal production, and hormonal function, and won't get in the way of blood sugar, thyroid, adrenal hormones, sex hormones, and all of the other hormonal derangement that occurs when we're not getting that sleep.
Wow, that's so important for people to know.
Yes.
Like, I'm thinking, had I even known that when I was, in high school, it's profound.
Yes.
And I think so many of us are going around thinking, I can get by on 5 or 6 hours. Because I'm sure you both can too. You can get up after 5 or 6 hours of sleep, grab a coffee or a tea, and have something to eat and sort of make your way through the day, and you don't feel especially impaired. But the problem is it's impairing that hormone process, and it is working against you at every step of the way. So you can be eating clean, working out, doing everything right, optimizing that thyroid and those hormones. And if you're not getting enough sleep, you're shooting yourself in the foot, or maybe in the stomach. I think we should right in the belly fat. But we're sabotaging ourselves, and there's no reason to do that. When you're trying to do everything right, you've got to put sleep right up at the top of that list with the other important things that you're doing during the day.
Well, I know that definitely rings true for me. When I get short sleep, my food choices, it's a lot harder to make those good food choices. I find myself, kind of like a shark. I'm making passes by the chocolate stash, come to and yet, right?
Exactly. Well, and
it's harder to keep your hand out of the candy jar, the cookie jar, with the junk food, whatever it is. You're just like,
and you just nailed it, Ginny, because that's actually an issue that I did not bring up. That is important. Another one of the effects is it messes with your frontal lobe and your ability to make good decisions. So even at the same time as we're craving junk and sugar and carbs more, our ability to make those good decisions drops significantly. So yes, we are going to head for the junk. You're going to hit that chocolate bar and the ho-hos and the pint of Ben and Jerry's instead of the bag of carrots, or the salad, or having a healthy snack, or not snacking at all.
right.
Any one of those choices is going to be better, but we're going to have a harder time. Even as committed as we are in our mind, our brain chemistry isn't going to support us making good decisions. So you nailed it exactly. It's exactly a very common side effect of short sleep.
Well, I think it's such. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, do you know, is there studies based on whether you wake up during that 7 hours, what that does, like not 7 straight hours consecutively?
Good question.
It is a good question, and the issue is really sort of accumulated sleep over the course of an evening. We all go through cycles in sleep where we go into deep sleep, and then we come to almost wakefulness, and then we go back into deep sleep. And so the issue is not necessarily the sleep cycles, or even some waking, which is pretty common, especially in women, and especially women over 40. But it's really, the aim is 7 hours of sleep in that time frame of going to bed and waking up. And there are some studies that show that sleep before midnight might even have a little bit of an extra boost and benefit. And I don't know that they've gone into too much of the theory of that, but I suspect it has to do with the melatonin. Because if you're not going to sleep early enough, your melatonin doesn't surge in the proper way at the proper time. And melatonin is part of the reason why sleep is such an important part of everything, because melatonin, if the body is a hormonal factory, melatonin is the factory manager. telling everybody what to do and when to do it. So if we're not getting to sleep late enough, the manager doesn't show up. So things aren't going to happen quite as well as they need to. And melatonin, again, helps us T4, T3 conversion, helps growth hormone, which helps us build muscle, which increases metabolism, and it helps with cortisol and stress hormone production. So if we don't have that melatonin surge and then all of the other hormones falling into line behind it, we're not getting that benefit, that metabolic boost from the sleep that we're supposed to be getting to help keep us on track.
Mm. And it's easy to fix. I say that, it's easy in theory to fix. It is hard. I know there's so many of us out there who are like up till 11 midnight binging on Netflix. And then I hear this all the time too. I think there's, in our culture, we place a lot of value on that messaging about, well, you just have to make time, right? So I get up at 6 a.m. to go to the gym. Well, and then you hear somebody say, I'm getting up at 5 a.m. so I can do all my things in the morning. I heard somebody say the other day, I get up at 3 a.m. so I can get all my, my workout and my meditation, my morning routine. And I'm like, wait a minute, time out. 3
Yeah. Well,
like,
but I'm wondering, are those people going to bed at 9? And maybe some of those people are.
Right.
Oh, it's possible. I mean, some people are really early to bed, early to rise. But honestly, if you're not getting 7 hours of sleep, but you're getting up at 3 or 4 in the morning so you can meditate and go to the gym, you're probably sabotaging yourself on some level. Because part of this is, I remember a story from Mark David, the nutritionist, who I just love. He's so brilliant. And he said he had a client who was running 20 miles a week to try to lose weight, and she wasn't losing the weight. And he said, all right, I want you to stop running 3 out of 5 days, and I want you to go take a breathing yoga class. And she's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to gain so much more weight if you make me do that. And he said, well, I'm the expert. You're supposed to listen to me. Give it a try. If not, go back to the running. Well, 3 months later, she had lost the extra 20 pounds. And he said, what is the deal about the running with you? And she goes, I hate running. So she hated it so much that she was raising her adrenal hormones because she was so frazzled and so fed up with it that she started to gain weight. She was gaining weight because she was running so much. When she started something that was adrenally stimulating her and frying her adrenals, her body relaxed and was able to lose the weight. So that's also part of it, is we need that downtime mentally, emotionally, and physically, including that sleep time, to let our body do what it naturally knows how to do. It knows how to stay at a healthy weight. When it's not, that's telling us that something's out of whack. And getting up at 3 in the morning to go to the gym is, in my opinion, it's out of whack. No judgment. If it really works for somebody and they're healthy and happy, more power to them. But I don't know too many people that would be pretty on board with that and still feel like they were having energy and feeling like they were tackling the day.
Yeah.
Well, and it will catch up with you. It will catch up with you.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a lot of people. I have friends, a good friend I just spoke to a couple days ago, and she's like, well, that's all I need is 5 hours. And I'm thinking, okay, all right, great. Yeah. And right now, your body's made to adapt. So you have cortisol and you have adrenaline, you have all these things so that you can keep up with, the pace that you're going, but it will catch up. And then the effects of that are what's scary, right? Because
they did a study. There were actually 2 different studies I saw. One study took a group of people, 5 days of short sleep. After 5 days, the group gained on average 2 pounds. Okay. And that was with no change in their, they weren't like dramatically changing their diet or exercise, but they let them eat what they wanted. They gained on average 2 pounds, which means some of them gained more than 2 pounds in 5 days. Another group, they took them and had them short sleep for a week, 40% increase in blood sugar, and 80% of the group was now characterized as pre-diabetic by clinical standards in 1 week of short sleep.
Wow.
That's incredible.
And these were normal body weight, normal BMI, normal metabolism. Otherwise, they weren't thyroid patients or people with underlying hormonal issues. They were normal people off the street with no other health challenges. and we can make them gain weight and turn them into pre-diabetics in a week by short.
And by short sleep, it's less than 7 hours, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Which, I mean, that's easy to have happen.
Exactly. And it should be intuitive, but I'll say it anyway. The shorter the sleep, the worse the effects. So, if you're getting 6 hours and 40 minutes, you're going to have less of an impact than if you're a 4.5 hour a night sleeper. The lower amount of sleep we're getting, the worse the effect is going to be on everything: mind, body, soul, metabolism, blood sugar, and immune system. Because you can also lower your immune system so significantly then that you're susceptible to catching everything else that's going around. Or if you're an autoimmune patient, that sort of lowers the guard and lets those antibodies start moving in and launching an attack on whatever your Achilles heel, organ, gland, or tissue is.
Wow.
I don't think people, or I guess maybe it starts when you're young. There's this thought that you go to bed so that you can have energy the next day, period.
Right.
That's it. And so you went through all those things in the very beginning. It's so important. Your body does so many things while you're sleeping. It needs that time to do all of that. Not just if you don't sleep, then you don't have energy the next day.
Right, exactly. And and again, you nailed that one, because that it's such a common idea, is that I have to sleep so I have energy, so I'm not sleepy the next day. And
Right.
that's only one small piece of the pie when we're looking at all of these other hormonal benefits, all of these other metabolic benefits, immune benefits, and for people who are trying to maintain their weight, lose weight, or not gain weight, it has all sorts of benefits from that standpoint as well. So it is that I'm not going to feel sleepy is in some ways, the least important element of all of this,
Right.
when we talk about our overall health.
And I think that's the key takeaway today, right? It's not just sleep so that you can maintain a healthy weight. It's so that you can maintain hormone health, mental health, stable blood sugar. There's all these other systems, it's up there, I think, with like drinking water, in terms of this is something you can just make a choice, an intentional choice to, give yourself this basic need so that you can thrive. So
Exactly. Look at our ancestors. They slept with the light. When the sun went down and got dark, they had some dinner and they went to bed and they woke up with the sun. And that's 8-9 hours of sleep, usually in winter months, even more. And then we wonder, why am I so tired in the winter all the time? Because I'm still sleeping my 6 hours instead of the 8 or 9.
Right.
My body is intuitively craving, because of the cold temperature, because of the light changes. We are animals. Our bodies are animals. And to ignore that, you would never say to your child or your pet or any other creature in your world that you love, you would never say, I'm not going to give you enough water, or you don't need as much rest.
Right.
Or sleep. Right.
Ourselves.
That's amazing. It's such a great, important thing that you're shouting from the rooftops, Mary. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm so glad to have you and to spread that message. And we do have a great brand new article from Mary going up on Thyroid Refresh any minute now. So we'll put that link in the comments. I think it's Sleep Yourself Skinny or something really great. So we'll put that link in the comments.
Great. Well, thanks to you both, and make sure you get some sleep, everybody.
Okay.
Tomorrow's Saturday, so you can sleep in a little bit and catch up a little and let your metabolic factory get to work. So.
And before we sign off, don't forget, it's time for Thyroid 30. So sign up today, guys, thyroidrefresh.com/thyroid30. You can use this platform to improve your sleep. And have fun doing it. So we'd love to see you guys there. But thank you all for watching. And thank you again so much, Mary, for being here and for being such a valuable part of our Thyroid Refresh family.
Thank you, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.